Welcome to SheVentures. I'm Doria, co-founder of CentSai. Listen to women who take risks, build community, and get shit done. Recording from Madison Avenue in New York City. Today's show is brought to you by Audible. Audible is offering our listeners a free audiobook with a 30-day trial membership. Just go to audibletrial.com/SheVentures and browse the unmatched selection of audio programs. Download a title free and start listening. It's that easy. Go to audibletrial.com/SheVentures to get started today. She had an early career as a teacher and pivoted into blogging in 2008. Her light bulb moment started with saving 50% on her grocery bills using various methods to feed her family. At that time, a single income household with two very hungry sons, and sharing her successes on a family blog. Today, she runs several media properties, earning in the mid six figures. The best known are $5 dinners, $5 meal plan, and Freeze Easy. She's appeared on The Rachel Ray Show and The View, to name a few. She's very modest and accomplished. She's an extremely savvy content marketer who, by sharing recipes, meal plans, and bringing encouragement to others, has done a great deal. She has been blogging before most of us got into the game for a full 10 years, has great SEO that I envy, a story and an inspiration for women who want to successfully balance working from home with having a family. Today, she feeds her husband, 4 sons, and about 35,000 others. She also has an exciting announcement that she will make at some point during our conversation, and I can't wait to hear that. Welcome, Erin.
Hey, thanks so much. I'm excited to be here.
So what I love about your story, Erin, and I love having you here today, is it seems as though you're very upfront about the fact, like with most entrepreneurs, you learned by doing, by iterating, by creating a feedback loop with your audience, by understanding. When I heard your story initially and how you started out, my first question was it more of a hobby, or did you see it and intend for it to be a way to grow a business?
So when I very first started the $5 Dinners website, it was totally a hobby website. I had been sharing on our family blog. I actually had multiple family blogs even before that, one of which was my second son's birth. I kind of was putting little updates throughout the day as I was in labor and after he was born, pictures kind of before live blogging your birth was a thing, or live tweeting. And
Right.
So we actually had several of those Blogspot way back in the day. And my sister, of all people, was like, I really don't care what you're eating and how you're shopping and what you're getting on sale. Please stop. So I was just kept putting our kids' pictures on that site and started a second Blogspot, which was $5buckdinners.blogspot.com. And just was sharing what we were having for dinner and what I was buying at the grocery store and how much everything costs and just how I do the breakdown of a $5 meal and what that looks like for our family at that time. And then the first 2 months, I had no idea you could even make money on a blog like that. I knew about Google AdSense, I think, and I had AdSense on the site, but I think I was making like 10 cents a month those first 2 months or something silly. And then a friend of mine said, hey, you should get on this ad network. So I did. And in the first month, basically paid for my groceries that month and was like, hang on, what is happening? So then it quickly morphed into, oh, okay, this could be more than a hobby site. And I think at that time, the recession was just starting to get said in the media and people were really starting to feel the pinch personally. And so I think the concept and the need to spend less money on food really resonated with a lot of people. And I think that's why we got so much initial traffic and were able to build that initial community.
That makes so much sense. I noticed that it was around 2008, and right at that recession point, it makes a lot of sense that although it wasn't planned, you introduced a product or several products at a great time. And just so that I have the timeline straight in my mind, or our listeners do, can you just very briefly go over the 3 products and what they are, and then also when they were launched?
How that evolution all happened? Absolutely. So $5 Dinners ran basically as a very personal blog. It's still personal. I still share tidbits here and there. It's just not quite as much because of the different resources that we've built out in my work on those. And so $5 dinners was pretty much a blog till 2014. So 6 years. It pretty much ran as a blog. We just put out recipes, put out recipes, put out recipes more. And then I would do our personal meal plan that would inspire other people to do meal plans. And then in 2014, we had a plan that I developed using the bulk ingredients from Costco. You could use it any warehouse store. I personally was shopping at Costco, and I put together this like mix and match meal plan of like, you get all these bulk ingredients and this is how you mix and match it all to make different meals. So you don't feel like you're eating the same thing over and over. And that went crazy viral on its own 2 times, 2 different ones in September, and then they meet in the following January.
When I heard about that, I was so inspired because it was something about like 20 meals for $150 using Costco ingredients, right?
Exactly.
Like initially when you had started your blog, you were getting 1,000 page views, I think a month, you had said at the very, very beginning. And then
a day.
A day. Sorry.
Yeah.
And then it went up to 500,000 to 1 million. And then I think you were at 2 million at one point, and now you're about at 1 million. Is that right?
Yeah, that's about right. Oh, not a day. Oh, goodness, on the month. The 1,000 a day at that time was, a lot in the early blogging space. We did cap out at 2 million, and we're down closer to 1 million kind of across all of our properties. We're divided now among the different resources that we've developed.
That's a lot of visitors.
It is. And the plans using ingredients from Costco, the second time they went viral, we saw 1 million page views in 3 days, which is unheard of viral. That's more than you're going to get for national media spot, right? And so it was just wild. And so in the middle of that viral, I was looking at the kind of projecting and looking at numbers, and my host, and still is my host, was going to charge me for overage because I was way over my plan amount, right? Because at that point it was a free download. And I quickly made the decision of, oh my gosh, I'm going to have $2,000 in hosting fees. How am I going to pay for that? That's not in my budget. The ad revenue would probably have offset it a little bit, but not completely. So I decided to sell those. Instead of having the free printable, I would sell it for $2. So it was basically just my way of trying to balancing out that cost. And so then I developed a second version of that plan, and I ended up developing 12 different versions of these sort of mixing and matching of ingredients, bulk ingredient packs from Costco. And I released those over time. And we probably released those from 2014 until it's for 2 years, 16. And what we found and the feedback that we got, going back to kind of what you said on the top of the show, is, this is great, Erin, but my family is only going to eat 7 of the 10 recipes that are on this plan's list. I'd love to be able to create my own.
Right.
Okay, no problem. So we built a software that's a web app and use it on our website. And we built the mobile apps that all sync together that allow people to do that. Basically, it's like you can either take the bulk plan that we set out for you, or you can create your own, or mix and match and swap and modify. And so we built that out based on feedback. And that is now what is the My Freeze Easy member program. It's a membership where you can join, and then you can put together these meal plans. We give you the shopping list. We give you the step-by-step instructions for how to if you're going to buy all these bulk of ingredients, what do you do with it? How do you put it together? So we have all those step-by-step instructions as well.
And so for that plan, is that about $5 a month as well?
That one's a little bit higher because of the customization and the proprietary software that we had built.
Makes sense.
And that one runs $12 a month. Yeah.
So like back of the napkin math, at one point or another, you've had 35,000, or currently how many do you have? How many customers do you have across your properties?
Oh gosh. Yeah. At least that many. We have different types of customers. We have our members, which is probably about 6,000 or 7,000 right now. And then we have people who purchase just individual meal plans, and that's in the 50, 60, 70,000 range. That's much, much higher. And because some people don't want to commit to this whole thing, or they want to just purchase one and try it out and see if it works, that kind of thing. And so we have different types of members.
And what's so great about it is that you created a recurring revenue stream that is making a lot of money. And what I was really curious about too is I was looking at your videos on your site. How much of it did you do on your own? Are you a solopreneur or did you outsource some of the things that you did? How did you handle that part of it?
I would call myself a solopreneur turned like teampreneur. I don't really know. I like to do everything myself at first because I want to know how it all works and I want to know how it fits into our programming and our systems and our processes and all of that kind of back end business stuff that to me is very exciting, but a lot of people would say is boring, or you don't want to know about it, or you don't want to have to focus on it or whatever. But I think that that stuff is crucial for a solopreneur to know. So what I have done is I kind of do the setup myself, work with our developer team. And then once I have it kind of set, then I start delegating pieces of it until it's pretty much all delegated. So Freezeezy, for example, my assistant pretty much could run the entire thing start to finish. If I disappeared for 6 months, nobody would know, if that makes sense. And so I've taught her all the operations of everything. I've taught her all the email marketing of everything because that business is very email focused and email driven. And I've taught her all the customer service side of it. It's pretty much built out from a developer's, like a tech standpoint. So there's not a lot we're going to do there, but I could disappear for 6 months and nobody would have a clue, right? And so that's kind of how I've built out each of the properties. I'm going to start the build of it, get it to how I want it to be, and then I'm going to bring in a team to help run it on the day-to-day, week-to-week.
Which is great because if you have the flexibility of having someone else know how to do it, you also then have freedom. Because one of my other questions, and then we can go back to the third property that you have, is balancing between 3 different properties. You've written books and 4 sons. How do you manage that?
Sometimes I don't even know myself. I get asked this all the time. I'm very protective of my time and my schedule. I will say that. Yeah. I think that that's something that you need to give yourself that permission to be protective. Like I am fiercely protective. And I actually look at kind of all areas of my life. Okay, right now in the last 6 months, I haven't done enough social stuff, right? I haven't been going to events or doing things, although I have one planned tonight, right? But like, I feel like if I look at, my family and my extended family and business travel, just all the different kind of big buckets in my life, I'm like, okay, we need to shift this over. So it's holiday season right now. I don't know exactly when this will air, but like, there's lots of social stuff I'll be going to in the next couple of months just to try to keep that balance. And so I think you just have to look at like, what areas are you, maybe not doing the best in and dial back in there. And, right now I'm not traveling. So that allows me to focus on other things. I'm protective of my travel schedule because traveling shifts everything off balance from my work to my family. Like everything gets shifted. And while it's good to get away for me personally, the absence makes the heart grow fonder, right?
Right.
True for me as a mom of 4 boys, I need to sneak away a little bit. And so might as well be productive with some business travel, right? But it's kind of balancing all of that and just making sure that your priorities are in line. And when they're not, just making little shifts to get them back in line and committing to that party and committing to that event or whatever it may be that you're feeling like you're lacking in.
Do you find that they give you space and respect the work that you do at home?
The boys?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yesterday I picked up my son. Yes. To answer your question. Yes. I picked up my son from his basketball practice and he starts asking me all of these questions about what's happening in the business. All I said was, how's your day? He usually just like, good. How's practice? Good. I'm like, well, I had a busy day today. I did this and this. It was kind of one of those power days for me where I just got a lot done because I was at the office late and, picking him up late from practice and all that stuff. And he just kind of sat there for a second and then starts asking me all these questions about what's the latest with this and what about this and all about the business. And I think he's got a little bit of an entrepreneurial bug in him anyways. It's kind of fun to watch that. And so I think that they think it's really neat what we get to do. And, I'm very open with them about what we do and the new things we're working on and the new projects, and then of course I'm always taking pictures of our dinner because I have to put them on the blog, and so they're always like, Mom, can I eat this yet? Are you done with your photos? So I think it's just part of our life and they're cool with it.
I think that's great. And I'm wondering too, if it also makes them budding entrepreneurs themselves because they're seeing what you're doing and how one can do things on her own. And, it doesn't have to be a 9 to 5 type of job.
Yeah, I absolutely think so. I think it certainly encourages it for them. My husband also owns his own business. So the two of us are kind of all the time talking about this, that, and the other. And it's just different, but it's just our family's culture. And if they want to go, I have one son who wants to be a doctor. Great, let's go be a doctor. And then my oldest son, I think he'll be either some sort of an entrepreneur, but he's got this great artistic and engineering mind. And so we'll just see where it goes. But we'll be open with them and supportive of them and whatever they decide to do, and not be blocked into, no, you have to get a stable 9 to 5 job.
Not to get too off topic, but being the mom of 4 boys, what responsibility do you feel as a woman? Are there certain lessons that you feel that you need to teach them, or is it more lead by example? I have 2 daughters, so I have a different situation in my household.
Sure. Honestly, I think some days I just want to make sure that they're functioning adults.
I understand that.
That's just some days. Those are the challenging days, right? I want you to be able to cook something more than a box of macaroni and cheese, right? And granted, I'm in the kitchen all the time, and they're learning and they're kind of absorbing by osmosis and watching and helping. But yeah, I think it's just understanding solid principles about being an amazing human being. And part of that is, not that sounds very braggy, but being in service to other people. That is exactly what both my husband and I are all about. And we're fortunate enough to be able to build businesses around that. And so I think they see that this ability to serve people, but at the same time have this growing business, I think is really cool. And so that's certainly one thing. And then just, looking out for others and having self-confidence and the self-esteem to push through the fear and the doubt and all the things that bubble into your mind every single day. And I think as we talk to each other, my husband and I, and to talk to them, they kind of see that and observe that. And what we hope would be then to absorb it so that they can then take that into their adult life and whatever they decide to do for their career or their business.
Their hemisphere. That makes a lot of sense. And, entrepreneurs also, you have a great success story, but we all have dark days or moments we're exasperated and wonder just how we're going to, solve whatever problem it might be. Your public persona is very positive. I get it's such a positive vibe talking to you, but were there any struggles or moments where you were just like, I just can't do this anymore?
Yeah, in general, I'm pretty positive. I have a pretty positive outlook, but of course, fear creeps in here and there when we're getting ready to launch a new product. How is this going to take? How's our audience going to respond to it? Is this really going to help people as much as it's helped me? All of those questions sort of lurk. And I think that I've been able to do 2 things that have helped me with that. One, I'm really excellent at compartmentalizing, which can be not a great thing, but I think it is when you're approaching, whether it's a launch or a release of something or, whatever that thing that it is you're currently struggling with. And so just kind of, saying, you know what, I'm going to put you in that box over there while I finish doing what I need to do. And just not letting it make the decision for you. You can't let those negative thoughts and that negative mindset guide your decisions. You just can't. Sure, they're there. They're lurking. They're always going to be lurking for me, right, for you, for everybody. They're just there. It's part of our human nature. It's part of our brain. And so you just have to, I think it's 1, seeing it coming and recognizing that it's there, and 2, choosing to just push past it or put it in the box over there and just sneak around it. And so I think that that's what's helped me propel things along. But yes, absolutely. I can't say I've had maybe a couple of burnout days over the last couple of years, but it kind of goes back to like, I'm here to help people. That's why I do this every day. And so that being the driving force and motivator for me helps me. And then at the same time, I'm super into self-care. The gym,
yes,
every now and then I'll go to get a massage, the supplements that I'm taking and the food I'm eating, like I'm super into all that stuff too. And I think that helps just kind of balance it all.
It's so important. And I would say one of my bigger struggles right now with entrepreneurship, 2 children, is the self-care part of it. And it's something that I'm really glad to hear that you found a solution to that. And it's something that I think a lot of people, that they're so busy all the time, and taking that time out, I think ends up making you more productive, right? At the end of the day.
Oh, absolutely. I actually just left the gym. And so I will have a very productive rest of the day. Right. And that's just the nature of it. Whether it's, although, if I do go get a massage, it's like, well, maybe I'm not going to be all that productive afterwards because you're all like zenned out and relaxed. Right. But
Yep.
the gym will get me going.
Yeah, totally. So your businesses, and let's talk about the third one, they were all bootstrapped, right?
Absolutely. So I started another business in the midst of all that in May 2015. In the midst of the initial virality of those other meal plans, we had so much traffic and response and engagement on the personal weekly meal plans that I was sharing that we decided to start a weekly meal plan subscription as well. And that one's the $5 meal plan. That one's $5 a month. And that's basically us saying, here's your meal plan. And we do have a web app where you can pick and choose recipes as well. But I think most of the members just use the one we select. And so that literally, I was just bootstrapped. Let's talk about bootstrapped. And I do have a business partner, Jim Wang, in that business. And he and I would pick recipes, or I would go to an old plan that I had and kind of mix and match recipes. I would copy and paste them into a Word document, clean them up, just clean them up for this and put together the shopping list. I literally did it by hand. And we would we did have a beta group. We did the testing and asking them for feedback. We did a really fantastic job in sort of that kind of lean startup beta feedback model. And we really did a great job with that. And then those Word documents eventually became InDesign documents. So they were much sexier and pretty. And so those got, oh, this is so great. All our beta people are like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing ever. Well, compared to a Word document in Arial font, like this is way better. So we did the InDesign content for probably 2 years, maybe a year and a half. And then we had the web app built. And now the web app spits out the plan for us. We pick the recipes. I just check recipes and it spits it out. It's really fast.
Okay.
And so we've streamlined it. We've improved it not only for our customers, from the Word document to the InDesign documents to the web app, which produces an InDesign looking PDF, but we've streamlined it internally as well. Copying and pasting and creating a shopping list by hand versus clicking 10 checkboxes and getting a PDF, like massive difference. So yeah.
You don't want to do that for 35,000 people? I can't imagine why.
I mean, I don't know. I'd rather just click some check boxes and then we can focus more time and energy on marketing and other things like that.
Exactly. It makes sense. And I think streamlining is super important. I was curious, do you come up with every single recipe yourself?
Yeah, we do a ton of cooking and recipe testing. I do a lot of it just on the daily with the food that we're eating, whether it's my lunch or our family dinner. But then I also have like recipe days where I'll just get in the kitchen and go crazy and make a bunch of food and check it all out and things like that. So
it's 100% you doing it from start to finish. And I also remember hearing, I think it was the Side Hustle Nation podcast, where you were saying that you also do videos because people either like to feel that they're cooking with you, or you did this initially, or to prove that they can be done within the amount of time that you're marketing that they can be done.
Both, actually. We do videos internally for our members for the Freeze Easy, which is the premise behind that is I'm going to show you how to put together 10 meals for the freezer in an hour's time. So I videoed it, me live in my own kitchen, and most of them, or all of them, except for maybe one, which is like an hour and 3 minutes. Some of them are 35, 40 minutes long.
That's
of me
so
putting
smart.
together these 10 meals. So those are videos. They're very instructional and inspiring, but those are inside of our member area. And then the very day that my Facebook page had Facebook Live access to it, which would have been the summer of 2016 or 15, I can't remember, 16, I think. It's been about 2 years now. And the day I had that, I started the Dinner Made Easy show. And I just 10, 15 minutes of me cooking something in my kitchen, sort of start to finish. If I was starting the slow cooker, I would just show people how to cook and get this into my slow cooker. Or if it was a skillet meal, we would move the camera over to my stove and shoot my skillet. It's just like, this is me in my kitchen. And this is Erin being a total goofball. Sometimes Erin with no makeup on. Sometimes Erin with nice looking hair. Sometimes Erin with a messy bun. It's just like whatever's happening that day is what happened.
It's real. And I think that's why it resonates with so many people. Who records them?
Facebook records them on Facebook Live. I just do it off my computer. Yeah.
So you really do it all yourself. That's incredible to me.
Yes, I will say there are some days I'm like, oh, I wish I had a production assistant to get all this stuff ready. But, this is what we're eating for dinner. I would do that. I actually haven't done a Dinner Made Easy show in a couple of months just because of my travel schedule this fall. But whatever we were making for dinner on Wednesday, I would do them every Wednesday. So I would either do them in the morning of Wednesday if we were making a slow cooker meal, or I would do them in the afternoon if I was just making dinner kind of fresh that night. And so it was just kind of a Wednesday thing for months and months and months and months and months.
Well, I just have to say the quality of them is really spectacular. And I think it's inspirational to know that you don't have to have a gigantic team to be successful. You just have to take the time to learn how to do things.
Yeah, I think that sounds about right. And I would call myself an avid learner. I'm always looking for the faster, better, smarter, easier, savvier way to do something. Does that mean I need to get a new camera for Facebook Live? So I would shoot them I use the software, and I would shoot them from my computer. Well, then I'm like, oh, I could get a second camera and do a top shot, because that's how most people want to watch you cook, is from above. Mm-hmm. And so I bought one. It's $30, plug it into my computer, and then I get a top shot. And then this software allows me to switch from Erin's face to top shot back and forth. And so I was able to basically do this very quasi, somewhat blurry produced production. And I'd have the name of the recipe we were making floating on the bottom of the screen, like a lower third. And it was just better than just me looking at the camera. And it was
right
because I learned about this software, because I took the time to figure out how it worked. And I took the time to file design tickets for those lower thirds. But it's piecing it all together and saying, I want to make this better. We're always looking at making our current setup better, whether that's our internal setup or what our customers and members are seeing that setup. We're always looking at making that better for everybody.
And I've heard that you've also said that about your content. And I wanted to go back to, the virality of your posts. Obviously, excellent content can be defined in so many ways. Why do you think your content is so successful?
Honestly, I have no idea, other than it resonates with people. I've seen people try it as viral hacking, and there's a couple things that you can do. We were already doing all of those things, but you cannot control what goes viral. You just can't, because you're not in control of what's being seen or what's being shown. You can try and hack it, and there's certain things that you can do. I had these things go viral on Facebook before the Facebook algorithm put the kibosh on all the things.
Yeah, on everything that small businesses do, pretty much.
Everything. It was long before that. It was January 2014 and October of 2014. Well, okay, there was actually 3 times. September 2013, January 2014, and August of 2014, twice in 2014. That was long before Facebook cued in that we were driving so much traffic and getting so many sales and da-da-da-da-da. And so I think now it's a lot harder, at least on Facebook. But pins, I think you just don't know. We have several pins that go viral. We track our Pinterest content very tightly because that's our highest social traffic source. And I'm like, how is that even a thing? This how to cook sweet potatoes with the worst photos in the world, which I've since improved, but the worst photos in the world. I'm like, how is that our top traffic post from Pinterest? I do not understand. And even Pinterest experts don't understand. And it's like, well, you just can't control it. And I think you're kind of at the mercy of the platform that you're looking to go viral on. And then of course, content matters, of course, but we've always had great content. So I think I just got lucky with both of those platforms, with the Pinterest platform and some of our viral content there. And then those couple times on Facebook, really, I tried to replicate it, and we've had some posts go big, but we've not had anything since October of 2014 go full on viral.
Which I think what's important is that you built your community and they continue to love what you do. And 100% agree with you on Facebook. I just have found it to be very difficult to do much of anything there since Russiagate, or whatever we want to call it.
Exactly.
But Pinterest is, I think, a good resource, and it sounds like it has been for you as well. Are there other social media tools that you recommend for someone who's starting out?
I would say whatever your audience is using, go there. So our audience is primarily Facebook and Pinterest. We do have a couple of different Instagram accounts that are pretty decent sized. But there again, they were purchased by Facebook and they've ruined the algorithm over there as well. So it's just
Yeah.
like we just have a presence there. And we do get some traffic, but it's not like game changing. Everybody's buying all the things because they clicked off of Instagram. That's certainly not the case. But we do it because it's a fun place to talk. It's a fun place to be. It's a great visual and staying top of mind and just keeping our brands out there. And so we do Instagram there. But I think, going back to building the community, we are really fantastic with email marketing. And I think that's where the core of your business should be focused on. Yes, you need to do content marketing and social media marketing, but the content to email, if you can build your email list and keep providing them with amazing value, and then every now and then be like, hey, we have this thing, that is where the gold happens. And that's how we've been able to sustain for as long as we have, is because we have this fantastic core of people who are interested in not only the $5 dinners concept, but what's going on in my life and what my children are up to, and, things that are happening and why I haven't blogged in a couple of weeks. And that was when my son had surgery earlier this year. It was in the hospital for 6 days. That was crazy. I told people about it. Oh my word, the response was insane, and so it's just having that connection with people via email. Our goal is to make sure that people are excited to be around and be a part of our community and be opening our emails. And so we spend a lot of time on that.
I was going to say, the authenticity of sharing your story and the community that it's built is where it's at, because they remain loyal. It sounds like you have a group of really diehard customers, which is the best thing you can possibly have. It kind of goes back to you saying that, you really haven't experienced much burnout because both you and your husband want to do something to help others every day. And so as long as you're like in alignment as far as your goal, everything else falls into place.
Exactly. It makes it a lot easier to show up and make sure that everybody's cool and make sure they have what they need and they're finding what they need to be the most helpful. We straight up ask people in one of our first or second or third emails, maybe like, hey, how can we help you? What do you need? Literally, it says, please hit reply and tell us how we can help you. And we have live chat on a couple of our sites. Oh, every day. Every day. We have live chat. We have, I don't know that it's full-time customer support, but it's getting there. As far as like somebody literally answering questions all day long, it's getting close to that.
So after 10 years, what is the size of your email list, if I may ask?
Right now, on my end, I'm not even sure about the $5 meal plan side. We'd have to ask Jim because he does numbers and I do content. But across the other businesses right now, we're about 125,000.
That is a big email list. Good for you.
Thanks. Yes, it's exciting, but it's where it's at. And it's what we've spent so much time focusing on. And I think it's what's helped us sustain through the blips and through the algorithm changes and through the Snapchat dives and all the different things that have changed and evolved. Email has not changed and evolved. Maybe the way you write it or your subject lines changed and evolved, but email is not going anywhere anytime soon.
So true, because I think about Google algorithms, writing for SEO, Facebook changes, Pinterest changes. You're right. If it's on your platform and it's your email list, you really have total control over what's going on with your business.
Right. We got nailed in, when was that? August, the most recent Google algorithm change. I can't remember the name of it. I've lost track of the penguins and the pandas and all the things, but we got nailed in August, which is our biggest month. January and August are our two biggest months with New Year and then back to school. And not a drop down in revenue at all. And that's because we're not dependent on search traffic. We're dependent on email. So we were not really affected by that. And so we were able to float through that fairly easily. And then we have been working to increase it. Obviously, since then, we have our monthly SEO check-ins and action items that we keep up with. But, we're trying to recover from that, but it didn't hurt us.
That's huge because so many people saw a 20% drop in their traffic with this latest update. So that's fantastic. With your email, do you have businesses that want to advertise? Can they buy space?
We don't really do solo email ads. We will do a sponsored ad, and that generally has an email kind of wrapped into it. But we found that, putting content onto the website, which is great for their SEO, unless there are no follows, but that's another story. And then we do social promotion and we do email, but it typically it's wrapped in everything else we're talking about that week. It's not a solo blast. We actually haven't done one of those, oh my goodness, in a long, long time. So we wrap it all together into like a package, but we don't do like solo email advertising.
Do a lot of brands want to work with you? I would imagine.
Yeah. I've got a couple in my inbox right now that I need to work on and work through, but I'm also really particular. I'm not going to promote whether it's a food product or a food brand. I'm not going to promote them if it doesn't align with my audience. If this is too expensive, I'm not going to talk about it. However, if it's something that's an investment worth making, like, hey, we have affiliate partnerships as well. Hey, this is my favorite planner in the entire world. I've been using it for 5 years to keep us on track. It's not cheap. Planners aren't cheap, but I'm going to talk about it because it's helped me and it might help you, and it's a worthy investment. So I'm really careful about that.
Is that where you would say that that's getting into the influencer space? So brands would come to you, and I'm actually not super familiar with this, so I'm coming at this with a bit of naivete. But from what I've read, brands will come to people who are very established in an industry. And if the influencer decides that she likes and supports whatever product, cause, whatever it is, then there is money to be made in that way as well. Is that another revenue stream for you?
Tiny, tiny, tiny. It's a tiny fraction, like maybe even less than 1% of our revenue at this point. I did more of it years ago. I have many friends who are more lifestyle bloggers. And, you get to a certain audience size and everybody wants to, but they can talk about a wide range of products. I am like food and only kitchen food. That's all I will talk about. So I'm a little bit boxed in, but I do not by any means do sponsor content after sponsor content or travel after travel, sponsor travel. I don't do that. I'm very particular. We probably run, I would say maybe 4 or 5 of these packages a year. So it's really not very many. And that's kind of by design and kind of on purpose. And, I would rather focus my time, attention, and clout on our own stuff. And then of course, anything that's complementary to that or makes sense, then we'll wrap that in. But I'm pretty particular about what we share in that space.
I think that's fantastic. And I think it really speaks to your trustworthiness and why customers remain loyal at the end of the day. You also alluded to the fact that you have a B2B part to your business as well. For listeners who don't know what affiliate programs are, could you just briefly explain that?
Sure. So it's basically you partner up with, related content or something that you personally use. I promote things I personally use. I actually have 2 different planners I promote. I have these wooden spoons that are, like kitchen stirring spoons that are also measuring spoons. And, so there's different products that I will share about that I'm connected to or I really love. And then when somebody makes a purchase through my recommendation, you earn a commission, essentially, a referral fee.
Got it.
And, you get to a certain volume in recommendations and you're like, oh, that's a lot of money right there. So but I'm also careful. Again, we have our own product suite. And so it's complementary things plus our own stuff, but we certainly focus mostly on our own resources.
I actually didn't know you had a product suite.
Yeah, well, I call it that. It's kind of all the different courses and we have 2 memberships. We have 3 courses.
Okay.
And then I do have physical products. We ship out every day. We have our own planner. We have gadgets. We have oven mitts. We have that you pinch. They're like little pincher claws. They're super cute and very handy. And we have a couple of magnetic planners. We have just different things that are related to, hey, that would be really nice to have that in the kitchen while I'm working on this. It's kind of related to our products, our digital products. We have the physical product line as well.
And then you also have affiliates on other people's sites. So if a site that makes sense for your demographic, it wants to promote $5 dinners, then they can make an arrangement with you. How many affiliates would you say that you have?
Right now we have about 800.
800?
Yeah. They're not all super active, but they're all there. And I email them all the time. Hey, we have a new promotion. Hey, we're doing this. Hey, it's the new year. These are the things we have coming up, all that kind of thing. we do, I think, a pretty decent job of keeping them updated. Then, of course, it has to fit into their editorial calendar. At the beginning of the year, everybody's talking about something. So sometimes we fit, sometimes we don't. And so there's absolutely no pressure at all. But if you think it's worth posting about, or you want to do a review, or you want to do this or that, then we do have a lot of people who have done some really fantastic content and posts about how these have helped them as well. They helped me.
Yeah.
They're going to help someone else. So it's just about connecting with the right people with the products that we have.
And you've also published 5 books, I think, or maybe more?
Soon to be 7.
Soon to be 7. Is that what the announcement is?
Nope.
Okay. Please tell us the announcement.
Oh my God. Well, we are in the final stages getting ready to launch a new mobile app. It's actually like FaceTime for cooking lessons. So we developed a technology that will connect you, student and an instructor, together, and they do cooking lessons via live stream video.
Wow.
So that is the latest project that we have been working on. And right now we are working on gathering our pool of instructors. Mm-hmm. And once we kind of have a solid group in place there and everybody's comfortable with what's happening and what's going to go on, then we'll start a more aggressive push towards getting students. We need people to request, pay for it's paid, that you have to pay for a lesson because we have to pay the instructors for their time. And so, but if you look at the cost of going into like a commercial kitchen or a cooking studio of some kind versus doing this in your own kitchen with your own tools and your own cookware and having somebody walk you through it in the moment when you're ready to cook it and when you're ready to eat it, is totally new and different and hopefully a little innovative and disruptive at the same time.
I've never seen anything like that. I'm not super familiar with the cooking space, but I really don't think so. You see shows on streaming, right? But you don't see it online in that way.
Right. Most of the cooking instruction, including stuff that I do with the Dinner Made Easy show we talked about, is you watching someone else do it.
Right.
And then you try and do it in your own kitchen and you're like, oh, I don't know what she meant by that, or I got to go back and watch this. Well, for $27 in what should be less than 30 minutes, we're going to teach you how to cook this or this or this or this or this, whatever you pick. And we'll do it live whenever you're ready. You can do it at 2:00 in the morning, maybe. Most likely you'll be doing it at dinner time or lunchtime or on the weekend. And we're there to help you. Our instructor team will be there and we'll connect to you one-on-one via live stream video. And then you basically kind of have to prop up your phone on something, a bowl or whatever. We might have tripods soon, working on that. And you just kind of point your phone at your countertop and then the instructor just talks you through what to do. You need to move your hand on your knife, or don't put your fingers like that, or chop down. Okay, move over, chop this way, kind of guiding you through the process of whatever the thing it is you're cutting or whatever the thing it is you're cooking.
It's such a great idea because it's not just for families, it's for single people who often, I live in New York City, eat out all the time. Part of it might be convenience, but part of it, I suspect, is also that they really don't know what the heck to do in terms of kitchen at all. So you're meeting a huge need. When is it going to come out?
Well, it's actually live, but we haven't pushed on the student side yet because it's this kind of, it's the Uber or Lyft or, we need instructors before we can have students. If we have students with no instructors, it's kind of the chicken egg thing. And so we're working on the instructor side first. Anybody is welcome to download it and sign up and get a lesson going. It's ready for that.
What is it called?
It's actually named after my grandmother. So it's the idea of like having your grandmother in the kitchen with you. And it's called Vonnie with a V. So sounds like Bonnie if you don't say it clearly, but it's actually with a V. So Vonnie was my grandmother's name. And I named it after her because she loved to cook and she loved to entertain and she loved to feed us. It was just such a part of her. And she taught me a lot. And so when I was working on it and kind of building it out, I thought, you know what, this needs to be named after her. And so I decided to name it after her.
I will download it for sure and check it out. It sounds fantastic. And what I was also wondering is, with so much in the space now, what would you advise, since I'm primarily focusing on women entrepreneurs on SheVentures, what would you advise someone who's starting out in this space? Sometimes I think not cooking per se, but the blogging space is so saturated that I wonder if it's still possible to do well. And I'm just curious what your point of view is on that.
I think absolutely you can do well. You just have to come in with your story, and you have to come in with something that's unique to you or to your product or your program or whatever it is, your content, whatever it is you're going to be talking about. And you just have to be different, and you have to be loud. You just have to cut through it. I've seen a number of different people in the last, probably I would say 3 to 4 years, who did not have an early start and who are just rocking and rolling because they are committed to it, and they are doing the work, and they are focused, and they are providing the fantastic content, and it's just resonating with people. And I think the other piece would be to be personal. Like we've kind of been talking about that, but you have to put the photo on Instagram of your kid doing his homework, laying on the kitchen counter. You just have to do that. It's odd, but like social media has like brought out the voyeur in all of us. Like, it sounds so creepy, but it's true. And when you're being fun and authentic and just like giving people snapshots of your life, even the not so great parts, right? Then I think that's what helps connect. And so I think that, being willing to do that, I think is really essential. And then obviously having great content, or if you're in a visual space, food or fashion, it would be great photos. You have to kind of, if you're doing the podcasting, you'd want to spend the money to have it produced properly, right? And so it's, you kind of have to, people expect good quality now. Now there are a few, kind of like, really things that I see, but it's fewer and further between. And I think people kind of expect that well done content at this point.
I agree. There's really no reason for it not to be well done in this day and age. So you have this new app, which is super exciting. Was that also bootstrapped, by the way?
Oh my gosh, totally bootstrapped. I had the idea in March. I funded it myself with profit that we see from other businesses. I looked at getting funding, and I just decided, nope, I'm going to own this. I'm going to keep it. So we did, the MVP is what we've just released. And there's a whole other list of things we can do to improve it that we'll get to, but we got to get people using it first.
Right. How do you market? How do you plan to market an app?
We'll start with our own audience, and then we'll probably do haven't really done much paid advertising. We have a couple of Facebook ads that run kind of in the background, just different for a couple different pages or products, but really we don't do a very aggressive advertising. And so I will need to dial that up and turn that on. Mobile app advertising is a whole different ball game. And so we're going to kind of dive into that here probably in February, if I had to guess.
I think it's exciting how you've continued to iterate throughout your 10 years, and you're doing something new and different. My last question is that, we all some of us receive offers to have someone buy out our companies. If that were to happen to you, let's say tomorrow, someone comes in and says, Erin, I'm going to give you 30 million for the whole thing. Take it or leave it. What would you do?
Oh, that's tough. I think that's really hard. I am so wrapped into the businesses. If there was some sort of a buyout plan, it would have to involve me still moving forward, just because they're very personality based. And that's not to say that I wouldn't take it and walk. I don't know that I would do that, because these are like my babies. I'm on my body, my face and body are on the cover of books.
Yes.
I thought that like the minute I was signing the cookbook deals and then signing off on the covers, I'm like, I am completely married to this now. And so that's not to say some of the other programs I wouldn't, sell individually, but as a package, it's Erin. And so not entirely, but a lot of it is. And so that would be really hard. There would have to be some contingencies in there for making sure that the connection was still happening. Because I've seen that many times where a company gets bought out and then it just fizzles. And I'm like, no, these are my people. They need me. Maybe some more than others. So that would be hard. But I have had friends who have sold their food blogs, but they're still there, or they still have some role in it. So that would be interesting to me. But a full like buyout, walkout, I think I would probably turn it down, unless it was like some ridiculous number.
Which these days you never know.
You don't. I know. So yeah, it's really hard to answer, but I think at the end of the day, this is my people.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'd have to, I have had offers, actually. I've had several, and
I'm sure.
it's just it's not right. So I haven't taken any.
I really respect that. And I just want to applaud you on your too many to count revenue streams. And really, though, more importantly, the value that you place in what you do and the leading by example with your life and being really honest about the fact that it's not easy every day with kids and a demanding job, but you've found a way to make it work and you do it so well.
Well, thank you. It's been a journey. And, I always say that kind of the entrepreneurship life is really a journey of personal development, little emotional development, little spiritual development, like it's kind of all of the above. And, you have to be willing to kind of fight through the hard stuff and revel in the good stuff. I think that, I've kind of slowly along the way just kind of grown in each little area. And it really is. It's an honor and privilege to get to be involved in people's lives. And, we get emails all the time. Oh, I love having you in the kitchen with me on the videos and da-da-da. And so it's just so unique and different and interesting. And
it's so priceless.
Cool. It is. It really is. And so that's, that keeps me going. And when I'm having a blip, I'm like, and my assistant will send over emails every now and then, like a great support email. She'll be like, hey, just want you to see this. So it just, that kind of obviously adds good fuel to the fire and keeping us focused and moving forward on the things that we're doing.
Absolutely. Erin, it's been such a pleasure speaking with you today. And for our listeners, where can they find out more information about you?
The best place is $5dinners.com. It's the number. And then $dollar dinners is all spelled out. So $5dinners.com has all the information about all the things there.
And also Amazon for the 7 books that you've written.
Yes, Amazon has all 7. That's right.
Thank you so much, Erin.
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. This has been great.
You've been listening to SheVentures. Like what you heard? Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel or wherever you get your podcasts and sign up for our newsletter so you never miss a show.